Hello, everyone. Today, my office is the nursery because my AC isn't working upstairs near the church office. So, enjoy the background decorations as we go through a little bit of imagery today. So, the imagery in the Bible uses a lot of metaphors, and one of the greatest metaphors is this battle between the darkness and the light. Okay, in Christianity, we associate with the light. If you're reading the New Testament, you'll see a lot of the language, especially in the book of John, is focused on Jesus being the light and being light bringers to the world around us, a world of darkness. Now, humanity has had a very interesting relationship with light and darkness for a long time. Pre-fire days, we were living in caves and we had to exist during the daylight because for fear of what we couldn't see. But as soon as we established the tool of fire, we were able to venture out. We were able to see. We were able to conquer the world around us. And fire brought other things. Light produces heat and energy, and it allowed us to cook food and to preserve food and to exist more, living a more abundant life around the world we lived in. So sort of like fire, we're going to focus today on some scriptures with the idea of light versus darkness. So the first scripture we're using, comes from the English Standard Version. It's John chapter 1, verse 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. So think of a lighthouse out by the sea. And because the world is so dark, because the hazards of the ocean, that lighthouse is necessary. It's a beacon of hope, of a warning sign for the ships that come that way. Watch out, it's dangerous. Let us guide your way. And that's kind of what we are as Christians. We shine our beacon, a beacon of hope and truth and light and love to the world around us in hopes that they follow that beam of light, of hope, of warmth, of truth, and overcome the darkness. And because the light contrasts so much with the darkness can't overcome it because it's so different. It can't bleed over it and snuff it out because it's kind of like oil and water, right? The two separate from each other continually because there's no blending of them. You can't have truth and lie don't merge, right? If the truth becomes corrupted, it's just no longer the truth. And it's kind of like that with the light. The light cannot be overcome by the darkness because for the darkness to overtake the light, the two would have to be connected. They would have to be merged together, and then it just wouldn't be light anymore. So the next scripture comes from John as well. It says, John chapter 8, verse 12. Again, Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. It's hard to walk in darkness. You've heard the blind leading the blind, and that's kind of how it is when you live outside of God's law and outside of the wisdom and the teachings of the Scripture. Is you're trying to figure things out for yourself. But you're also a broken, flawed person who's trying to teach themselves. So anything you teach yourself will be broken and flawed. So we have to, as Christians, we believe that there's something that is transcendent in the world, that isn't broken, that isn't flawed, and from it pours the knowledge into us. That knowledge can be corrupted by people. It can be, they can lie about it, but from the source, when it comes from the source, it is pure and untainted. And it is up to us to follow that light or We're going to be stumbling all over the place, trying to fix ourselves and fix the world around us. And it would be kind of like a surgeon with no medical experience, and think about the damage that they could do on a table trying to save somebody. They might be doing more harm than good. I mean, if someone had to do eye surgery on you and they had to go near your brain, but they'd never done anything like that for you, you wouldn't want them in there. You'd probably even rather live with one blind eye than having somebody untrained messing around in your head, messing with your body like that. And that's how it is for us when we when we think that we know everything, when we think that we have all the answers. It can be pretty dangerous to live in arrogance like that. John chapter 3, verse 19. And this is the judgment. The light has come into the world, and people love the darkness rather than the light, because their works were evil. And this is the nature of darkness. People who live in the dark, they don't want the light, because they've sculpted their entire life around living in the shadows, living where they can't be seen by the world around them, where they can hide their shame and their guilt and their evilness. And the thing about light is it makes it hard to hide things, because the light illuminates and it shines and it shows, it directs. We don't want that direction sometimes. We don't want to look into the mirror and say, wow, I didn't know I had really sunk to this level. We don't want those eureka moments where we look into the mirror and see ourselves for who we truly are. But you can't use a mirror if there's no light, right? You can't look at an image of yourself, because for you to see it, you're going to require light. Now, we are called to be part of this light with Christ. We're called to not to hide our light, but to shine it for all to see. To be that light on the hill, to be that flame that doesn't get extinguished. And it's hard, because when you shine your light, you're also shining the light on all your imperfections. And all those people hiding in the darkness, they are still sitting there hiding their shame and their guilt. Yours is going to be on display. It's more important that we live that virtuous life, since we're going to be drawing attention to ourselves, saying, this is how we should live. This is how you should act. This is what you should do. And championing the light can be an uncomfortable thing, because there's no hiding from it. And you put yourself at a focal point of focus for all those around who, yeah, they might be as fallen as you, but you're standing there saying, I believe this is the truth. And they're going to be looking for ways that you fail, that you've messed up, that you're a hypocrite. And we all are at some levels. But we just need to understand that, yeah, I'm not perfect. The light has shown me the way to live, and I'm doing my best to take those steps towards it. I'm not the source of the light. I'm not the one who holds or made these answers, that they come from something transcendent, bigger than me, and you can tap into that too. You can draw into that light into you and walk the walk with Christ. And that's the message that we are trying to see. That's why this battle between darkness and light is such good imagery for Christians, because it really broadcasts what happens to you when you try to embrace the light and to shine, and how the darkness runs away from it. You're probably going to lose some friends if you embrace the light. You might not like the way you look anymore, because now you can see properly, and your life is going to change. We just have to be willing to accept that and know that, yeah, you might lose some things, but it's a net gain overall, because the things that you're chopping out of your life make room for new, more healthy things to grow. So if you have any questions about the light and being the light of the world and showing Jesus' light and love to everyone, please let me know. Continue to pray for our country, the people in our community who've lost loved ones, the people who are fighting disease, whether it's COVID or other types of diseases and illnesses out there that people are losing loved ones about. Pray for our leaders that they have the wisdom to make the right decisions, no matter which party they're from or anything like that. But I hope everyone has a good day, and let me know if you have any questions.